I think he makes a very fair point. The other thing that's fascinating, too, is I think they need 70 points from Poole, Thompson, and Curry to get through these games. In Game 1, they scored 58 points, and they lost 120 to 108. So from that standpoint, that 70 would have gotten him a tie. You can't expect Poole to play nearly as well on the road as he does at home. And he is not going to be dominant tonight in Boston. So, Stevie, I agree with you. Curry's going to do what he does because he's great. So I understand that. You're right. 4 out of 19, expect Poole not to score as much. They need a much better performance out of Thompson. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I know injuries for 2 years. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to expect him to bounce back and have one of those days where he makes 6 or 7 threes. I'm going to give him that because he's going to have a game like that. He's too good. I'm not going to buy the fact he's over the hill yet. Green is what
not over the hill.
Green, no, he's not over the hill, but he's coming off 2 major injuries, Stevie. He'll be fair.
He'll be better. He'll be better next year. He'll be better next year.
Yeah, he'll be better next year.
Klay Thompson will be better next year.
Yeah, he's coming off 2. He didn't miss 2 years. I'm worried about Green because he's very fortunate. You're 100% right. He yelled the whole game, and he's very lucky, and it was good officiating by Zach Zarber and all the guys. Zach Zarber, he should have been thrown out of the game when he got into that altercation with Jaylen Brown.
No, he shouldn't have.
You can make the argument. He only got the 1 technical. You can make an argument that's a double T. No, I wouldn't have called it, but you can make that argument. And if you make that argument, he's out of the game. He's not going to get that benefit of the doubt tonight, Steve.
Let me respond. Let me respond to this because I want to say this in front of you. I said it yesterday. I'll say it again today. When you talk about the double T, you're absolutely right. They probably would have both been teed up if the referee was not aware of the fact that that second T would have ejected Draymond Green from the game. I'm one of those people. I don't want to hear all of these nonsensical folks that act, just officiate the game. Don't pay attention to the moment, to the significance. Oh, hell no. It's the NBA Finals. You certainly should pay attention to that moment. Those referees certainly should have taken into consideration a second T would have ejected Draymond Green because we don't want a situation where the referees are being pointed at as it pertains to determining the outcome of a championship round. We don't want that. We want that decided by the players. So the fact that Green ended up staying in the game, I applaud that decision by the referees not to tee them up, knowing it would have led to an ejection by Green. Having said that, I will say this to you. Klay Thompson will be better next year, as I just reiterated. But I want to emphasize this point. You brought up 70 points between the three. I disagree. Even if it's 60 between Steph and Klay, think about the profound impact that has on the opposing defense. It's not about the numbers. It's about the efficiency. When Klay puts it up and Steph puts it up, if they're both going in, that creates havoc because the fear of God comes into the opposition because you know what they're capable of. So even if they both had 30, they'll petrify you to such a degree that it compromises everything you want to do defensively, and it opens up other opportunities for other people. Even an Otto Porter, even a Gary Payton Jr., even a Draymond, or, the list just goes on and on. Looney, for crying out loud. If those two get going, it changes the scope of everything.
That's a fair point.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why Klay's needed.
Oh, that's smart. Good job. It's still a game of mathematics, however, and you got to figure out a way to get to 100 points. And if you don't get 70, that's 10 less. Who's going to get to those 10 more points on the road in a big spot? Remember, a lot of these low guys are good in their building. When they go on the road, it's a different story. That crowd is brutal. That's noisy. This is an NBA Finals. That's going to be a little intimidating. Poole's not going to go tonight and make 6 threes. He's not making a half-court shot.
Last point,
Keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Last point, Molly. Remember, Doggy, Golden State scored 108 in the first game, 107 in the second game. So they're getting their points. The difference is Boston went from 120 in game 1 to 32 points less, 88 in game 2. So when you're talking about that, I mean, Golden State's offense is not the issue. Golden State's ability to shut down Boston in game 2 was the issue.
But they did get destroyed and only scored 16 points in the fourth quarter of game one. They got outscored 40 to 16.
40 to 16.
16 points for a Golden State team that had been averaging about 35 in the postseason in these fourth quarters at the Chase. That's not enough points, Steve.
And still ended up with 108, even though
but I mean, they got a couple things late with garbage.
So what does that tell you?
Steve, they scored 16 points.
I just said they averaging 107
points.
Didn't I just say they averaging 107? They averaging 107 points, even with the bad fourth quarter. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.